Mjnanatimirandasya Gyananjana-shalakaya Chakshurmitanyena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Our Dandavat pranams to all the assembled sincere seekers and Vaishnavas. We're continuing with our diving into the stream of Bhagavad Gita, and we're going to continue with chapter 11, picking up from the beginning again. The vision of the universal form. A different aspect of Krishna, right? Okay. Oh, I have a message just popped up. Someone saying the room is closed. Do you see that, Marie?
Yeah, I see that. I'm confused.
Hmm.
I will send them the link.
Okay. Okay, so I'll just chant the first few verses from chapter 11. Arjuna Uvacha Madanugrahaya Paramam Guhyamadyatma Samgitam Yatra Yoktama Chastena Mohoyam Vigato Mama Bhavapyayo Hi Bhutanam Shuto Vistarasho Maya Tvata Kamala Pachaksha Mahatmyamapi Chavyayam Evam Etadya Tattvam Atmanam Parameshvara Jashtumi Chami Te Rupam Aishwaram Purushottama Manyase Yaditachakyam Maya Jastamiti Prabho Yogeshwara Tato Metvam Darshayatmanam Avyayam Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Pasyame Partarupani Shatashota Sahasrashaha Nanavidani Divyani Nanavarna Kritini Cha Pashyadityan Vasunrudram Ashwino Madhutastata Punyajishta Purvani Pashyash Charjani Bharata. Okay. Arjuna said, by your grace you have revealed your hidden treasure to me, and my ignorance of your supreme self has been dispelled. O beautiful lotus-eyed Lord, I've heard your elaborate description of the manifestation and dissolution of the living beings, and I've also heard your description of your inexhaustible glories. O Lord, you have perfectly described your supreme self. Yet, O Purushottam, I wish to see this glorious form of yours. O Yogeshwar, I implore thee, if you consider it possible for me to see it, please reveal your imperishable form to me. The Supreme Lord said, O Partha, behold my innumerable divine forms of many kinds, colors, and shapes. O Bharata, behold the gods, Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwini Kumaras, and Vayus. Behold many wondrous forms, hitherto unseen. So in the previous chapters, as you may recall, right, it was the divine glories of the Lord. And in that chapter, there were many I ams, right? I am the silence of all secrets. I am the taste of water. I am the strength of the strong. I am the wisdom of the wise, and so on, right? The glory of the glorious. I am victory. I am perseverance, and so on. So he's speaking, giving some description of his glories, his innumerable glories. And now Arjuna, his curiosity is awakened and saying, oh, I want to see this grand, glorious form of yours. So please let me see that. So we'll continue. So from verse 7. Ihai kashtam jagat kritsnam pasyadyasa characharam mama dehe gudakesha yakchanya drashtumichasi natumam shakyase drashtam anenaiva swachakshusha divyam dadami te chakshu pasyame yogamaishwaram Sanjaya uvacha evam muktva tato rajan mahayogeshwaro hari darshayamasa partaya paramam rupamaishwaram anekavachanayanam anekadbhutadarshanam anekadivyabharanam divyakeno yatayudam divyamalyam varadadam divyam gandha nulepanam sarvascharyamayam devam anantam vishwatomukam divi surya sahasrasya bhavedyuga parutita yadi basa jishi sasyan vasastasya mahatmanaha. O vigilant Arjuna, behold in one place, in this form of mine, the whole universe of moving and stationary beings or anything else you desire to see. But you cannot see me with these eyes, so I give you divine vision. Behold my divine opulences. Sanjaya said, O King Dhritarashtra, speaking thus to Arjuna, the omnipotent Supreme Lord Hari revealed his magnificent, almighty form. The Lord revealed his effulgent, omnipresent, all-wonderful, universal form of many mouths and eyes, many marvels, effulgent dress and garlands, anointed with celestial fragrances, many dazzling ornaments and gleaming, upraised weapons. The brilliance of 1,000 suns appearing simultaneously in the sky might resemble the effulgence of this great universal form of the Lord. Okay, I'm going to continue Sanskrit. Tatraik, I'm remembering now we went through these verses. Tatraikastam jagat kritsnam pravibhaktam anekada apasya deva devasya sharire pandavastada tata sa vishmaya vishto vishtaro dhananjayaha pranamya shirasa devam kritanjalirabhashata arjuna vacha pashyami devam stava deva dehe sarvam stata bhuta vishesha sangam ramanam isham kamalasanastam nishimscha sarvam udagamscha divyam aneka bahudara vaktra nitram pashyami tvam sarvatonantarupam nantam na madhyam na punastavadim pashyami vishveshvara vishwarupa kiritinam garinam chakrinam cha tejorasham sarvato diptimantam pashyami tam durniriksham samantad diptanalarkadyuttam prameyam. In a moment, there on the battlefield, Arjuna saw the entire multifaceted universe in one, within the body of Lord Shri Krishna, the supreme God of gods. Astonished, the hairs of his body standing on end, Arjuna bowed his head in obeisance to Lord Krishna. Placing his palms together, he prayed. Arjuna said, O Lord, I see within your body the demigods, all species of life, the celestial sages and serpents, Mahadev, and Lord Brahma seated on the lotus flower. O Lord of the universe, O universal form, in all directions I see your infinite form of many arms, bellies, mouths, and eyes. I see no beginning, middle, or end of you. I see you everywhere with crown, club, and disc, a mass of effulgence illuminating all like the blazing light of the sun, difficult to behold and incomprehensible. I'm just going to continue. It's quite compelling. Twamaksharam paramam veditavyam twamasya vishwasya param nidanam tamavyaya shashvata dharma gupta sanatanastvam purusho mato me anadi madyantam anantaviryam ananta bahum shashi surya netram pashyami tam dipta hutasha vaktram Satejasa Vishwamidam Tapantam Vayav Yaprityur Idam Mantaram Hi Vyaptam Tvayaikena Dishascha Sarvaha Jishtvadbhutam Rupamidam Tavogram Lokatrayam Pravyatitam Mahatmam Amihitvam Sora Sangha Vishanti Kechidbita Pranjalayo Grinanti Shashchityuktva Maharshi Siddha Sangaha Stuvanti Tam Stutivi Pushkalabihi. You are the supreme absolute truth knowable by the Vedas. You are the supreme reservoir of the universe and the imperishable preserver of the eternal religion described in the Vedas. I now understand you to be the eternal supreme personality. I see you without beginning, middle, or end, infinitely powerful with countless arms. Your eyes are the sun and the moon, your mouth is blazing fire, and the entire universe is seared by your radiance. You alone pervade all directions and all space between heaven and earth. O gracious one, seeing this wondrous and fearsome form of yours, all the inhabitants of the three worlds are terrified. All the demigods are entering into you, some fearfully offering you prayers with cupped hands. The great sages and perfected beings are singing your glories in beautiful verses, saying, may all auspiciousness come to the world. Okay, I'm just going to continue. So verse 22. Rujaditya Vasavo Yecha Sadya Ishveshvino Marutashchushma Pascha Gandharva Yaksha Soda Siddha Sangha Vikshante Tvam Vishmitaschaiva Sarve Rupam Mahate Bahuvaktra Netram Mahabaho Bahu Bahurupadam Bahudaram Bahudamstra Karalam Drishtva Pravyatitataham Nabhasprisham Diptam Anekavanam Yatananam Dipta Vishalanetram Drishtvahitam Pravyati Tantatma Jitim Navindami Shamam Cha Vishnu Tamstra Karalani Chate Mukhani Drishtvaiva Kalanala Sannibani Disho Najanena Labhecha Sharma Prasida Devesha Jagannivasa. The Rudras, Adityas, Vasus, Sadyas, Vishwadevas, Ashwini Kumars, Vayus, deities of the forefathers, the Gandharvas, Yakshas, Asuras, and Siddhas. Indeed, they all marvel to behold you. So some of these names will be unfamiliar for some of you, but they're describing different races, different entities, both above and below. You know, some auspicious, some unauspicious, inauspicious, some higher, some lower beings. You know, they're all, you know, universally congregating to offer their praise. O mighty armed one, seeing your vast form of many mouths, eyes, arms, legs, feet, and bellies, fearful with its many teeth, all beings, including myself, are afflicted with fear. My goodness. O Vishnu, seeing your sky-touching, dazzling form of myriad colors with gaping mouth and huge fiery eye, my heart trembles with fear, and I cannot find equilibrium or peace. So Arjuna, you know what they say, right? Be careful what you wish for. So Arjuna prayed to see this great, miraculous, awesome form, awesome in the original sense. But now some regret. It's like, oh, what was I getting myself into? I'm not so sure about this. Seeing your mouths resembling the fire of the universal annihilation, ghastly with their terrible teeth, I am distraught and have lost my bearings. Be gracious, O Lord of the gods, O abode of the universe. Yeah, I'm picking up from 26. I mean, and what a scene, right? I mean, just think of the scene. They're in the middle of the battlefield. And they've been they've been having this very profound philosophical discussion, right? And now this chapter is like a shift, right? And there's this very impressive, grand manifestation of the Lord that's being exhibited. So this is quite a striking chapter in Bhagavad Gita. It's quite different from anything else. Okay, I'm going to continue. Ami chatram dhritarashtrasya putraha sarve sahaiva manipala sangaihi Bhishmo drona sutaputrastataso sahasmadhyerapi yodamukyai vakchani te saramana vishanti damstra karalani payanakani kechidvilagna dashanantadeshu samjishyante chvaniterutamangay Yatha nadinam bahavo ambuvegaha samudram evabhimukha dravanti tatatavami naralokavira vishanti vakchanyabhito jvalanti Yatha pradiptam jvalanam patanga vishanti nashaya samridha vegaha tataiva nashaya vishanti lokas tavapi vaktrani samridha vegaha Lilihyase Vrasamana Samantal Lokan Samagran Vadaner Jvaladibihi Tejo Birapurya Jagat Samagram Vasastavagra Pratapanti Vishnu. The sons of Dhritarashtra, their allied kings, and Bhishma, Drona, and Karna, along with our chief warriors, are all rushing into your dreadful mouths of terrible teeth. Some can be seen with their heads caught and crushed by your teeth. So these are, of course, this group who he's mentioning. They're representing untruth, right? They're on the enemy side. And so he's seeing here, they're approaching their death, right? This is Evan's first meeting. It's not usually like this, Evan. I promise.
If it's any consolation, when we were doing this a few weeks ago, one of our number was saying, "Oh no, not the universal form."
I mean, even Arjuna, you'll see, he's like, "Oh, Krishna, please, this is too much. I don't want to see this form anymore." As many rivers flow towards the ocean. Yes, I noticed Jayadev was skipping today. Welcome, Chintamani, and quite a few others have joined. Seva Rupa and Scarlett's here. Steve, welcome everyone. As many rivers flow towards the ocean to finally enter into it, so these heroes of the world are entering your flaming mouths that illuminate all around. As moths are impelled to their death in blazing fire, similarly, all the worlds are helplessly rushing to certain death, entering into your mouths. O Vishnu, with your flaming mouths, you are relishing, devouring all the worlds, your all-pervading, glaring effulgence, searing the entire universe. Agyahi meko bhavanugra rupo, namostu te deva vada prasida, vigyatamichami bhavantamadyam, nahi prajanami tavaparitim, Shri Bhagavanu Vacha. Kalosmi loka kshaya krit pravido lokam samahartumiha parvitaha itepi tvam na bhavishanti sarve yevastita pratyani keshu yodaha tasmatvam utishta yashola basva jitva shachun bhungshva ajam samridam Vaite nihata parameva nimittamatram bhava savya sachin. That's a very nice line. Nimittamat bhava savya sachin. Sometimes quoted by our gurus. Just be an instrument. Be an instrument. That is our goal. To be an instrument of the divine will. Dronam cha Bhishmam cha Jayadratam cha Karnam tatanyamapi yodaviran Maya hatam stvam jahima yatishta Yudhyasva jeta sirane sapatnam. O fearsome one, please tell me who you are. You are, O Lord of the gods, I offer obeisance unto you. Please be gracious. I wish to fully know you, the origin, as I cannot understand your actions. The Supreme Lord said, I am time, the almighty vanquisher of all, and I am engaged in destroying the worlds. Even if you do not slay them, not one of the warriors in the enemy party will be spared. You see, one interesting thing that you see in the Vedic literature is that time and death, they're like used almost synonymously. And the god of Yamaraj, right, the lord of death, he's also sometimes referred to as the lord of time, Kal, right? So by the power of time, right, everything is degrading and dying. So arise, be glorious, conquer the enemies, and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. All these warriors have already been killed by me. O Savyasachin, you be but an instrument. Because Arjuna, right, he's hesitating. He doesn't want to carry out this duty of killing the unrighteous warriors on the other side. But Krishna is telling him, actually, they're already, their destiny's already been decided. It's not up to you, and it's not a matter of you doing it. It's already happening. It's already being done, and you are just an instrument in that. Slay Drona, Bhishma, Jayadrata, Karna, and the many warriors who are as good as slain by me. Fear not, fight. You will be victorious over the enemy. Welcome, Suyash Prabhu. So 35, Sanjaya Vacha, Itat Shutva Vachanam Geshavasya, Vitanjalir Vepa Mana Kiriti, Namaskritva Bhuya Evaha Krishnam, Sagadgadam Bita Bita Pranamya, Arjuna Vacha, Stane Rishikesha Tava Prakritya, Jagat Pravishyat, Yanurajya Jate Cha, Rakshamsi Bitani Disho Javanti, Sarve Namasyanti Cha Siddha Sangaha, Kashmak Chaten Namidam Mahatmam, Gadiyase Brahmano, Yadi Kartre, Ananta Devesha Jagannivasa, Tamaksharam Sarasa Tatparam Yat, Tamadi Deva Purusha Puranas, Tamasya Vishwasya Param Nidanam, Vetasi Vedyam Cha Param Cha Dhamma, Trayatadam Vishramanantarupa. Sanjaya said, hearing these words of the Lord, the trembling Arjuna bowed his head, placing the palms of his hands together in prayer. With a fearful heart, bowing again, he spoke falteringly. Arjuna said, O Rishikesh, it is fitting that the whole world joyfully sings your glories with love. The demons flee, scattering in all directions, and the perfected beings offer obeisance to you. And, O gracious one, how would they not bow to you, the worshipable creator of even the creator, Lord Brahma? O infinite God of gods, O abode of the universe, you are the manifest, the unmanifest, and the supreme imperishable. You are the eternal origin of all the demigods and the only refuge of this universe. You alone are the knower and the knowable and the supreme abode. O Lord of infinite forms, the entire universe is pervaded by you. Vayuryamog Agni Varuna Shashankaha Prajapatistam Prapitamahascha Namo Namastestu Sahasrakritvaha Punascha Bhuyopi Namo Namaste. Nama parastadata pishtataste. Namostute sarva deva sarva. Anantaviryamita vikramastvam. Sarvam samapnoshi tadosi sarvaha. Saketi matva prasabam yaruktam. He Krishna, He Jadava, He Saketi. Ajanata mahimanam tavenam maya pramadat pranayena vapi. Yakchava sartam asatkritosi vihada shayasana bhojaneshu ekotavapya chuta tatsamaksham takshamayetam mahamaprameyam pitasi lokasya characharasya Ramasya pujascha gururgariyan natvatsamostya vyadika kutonyo loka trayepya pratima pramava. So this is this is an interesting point here in Bhagavad Gita. There's like an interruption of the rasa, right? By rasa, I'm referring to the particular relationship that Arjuna and Krishna generally have, right? They're generally in the mood of friendship, sakya rasa. And that's quite an elevated relationship to have with the Lord, where there's the exchange, like an equal exchange with the Lord. And there's a forgetfulness of the divinity of the Lord, right? So this is generally the relationship between Arjuna and Krishna. But then in this moment, right, Arjuna is like curious. Oh, I want to see this, because Arjuna and Krishna are relating as buddies, right? And in the previous chapter, Krishna is giving some hint of his majesty, right? His glorious nature. And then Arjuna is curious. Oh, I want to know more about this. Can you show me this great form of yours? But he doesn't quite know what he's getting himself into. So then Krishna is showing this great universal form, but then what it does is it actually spoils the intimate relationship that he has with Krishna. It creates an interruption. It's an interference in their natural relationship. And so he's overcome with fear, right? As he's mentioned. And then here in these verses, which we just read now, he's feeling like that he's been offensive, right? But our devotees are often feeling that they've been offensive, right? And usually it's silly. And in this case also it's silly that Arjuna is feeling that way. It's unnecessary. And I mentioned this previously, because we went through like half of this chapter before, that there's this interesting comparison which is drawn in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And this example is actually cited as an example. This moment here is cited as an example of a sakya ras, of relationship, of friendship, which is a little weak. And in Chaitanya, the scripture Chaitanya Charitamrita, the author, Kaviraj Goswami, is drawing a comparison with other intimate associates of Krishna. When they face a similar situation, their intimate feeling is not disturbed, right? Because they feel more tight, right? Like let's take the example, if your close family member becomes someone very famous, right? And maybe they have so many fans who are fawning over them, but you're not going to buy any of that. They're still your little brother, your little sister, right? You might, give them a little smack on the cheek sometimes, or you might quarrel over who gets the last piece of chocolate cake. And, you're not going to be affected by their fame and their glory, right? Because you're so close. But then if it's someone who perhaps some friend at school you were good friends with, but not super close, then when you see they've attained some great position, then that might kind of make you feel awkward, right? Because your closeness wasn't so tight, right? So there's this interesting comparison that's drawn in Chaitanya Charitamrita, you know, in other cases, like Mother Jashoda, Krishna's mother, when she was faced with an example of Krishna's divinity, you know, she wasn't fazed, you know, he's still my boy. You know, she doesn't like hearing these rumors, these horrible rumors that Krishna's not really her son, and he's really this great God. She doesn't like hearing that. You know, these are like nasty rumors spread by envious people. He's my beloved boy. You know, that's all he is, because the love is so strong, you know. So, you know, not that we're in any position to you know, put a label or judge, you know, who has higher devotion or lower devotion, but these things have been mentioned by our gurus, and so we're simply noting that, you know. So here Arjuna, his intimate feeling for the Lord has been interrupted, right? And he's been swayed by this magnificent vision of this universal form of the Lord. And you know, we also have to understand these things in context, right? This universal form is ultimately not considered to be so significant, you know, particularly for those in the line of pure devotion. You know, first of all, this form is in connection with the temporary plane, right? It's a form in connection with the maintenance of the Mayic world, right? The mundane, temporary plane. It's not an eternal manifestation of the Lord in connection with the eternal plane. And another point, of course, is that this form of the Lord, it's in the mood of Aishvarya, which means, you know, majesty. It's exhibiting the divinity of the Lord. It's not a form of the Lord that is approachable, that is lovable, right? And so in terms of the calculation of rasa, right, divine sentiment, divine ecstasy, relationship with the Lord, then it gets a lower score, right? With all due respect. Because you can't have a relationship like you see Arjuna. He's just cowering down. Oh, you know, I'm so afraid. You know, there's very little rasa, very little juice, you know, relationship scope here, right? But it is a form of the Lord, which for some persons is very inspiring, and like, you know, everyone's at a different level, and for some they need and they are attracted to this type of worship and relationship with the Lord, some great, majestic, awe-inspiring, and so on. So just a few thoughts. Okay, we'll read these translations. You are the father and grandfather of all beings. You are air, death, fire, the ocean, and the moon. Obeisances unto you thousands of times, again and yet again. O embodiment of all existences, my obeisances unto you from the front, behind, in all directions. O Lord of unlimited potency and immeasurable prowess, you pervade all, therefore you are all. Due to the familiarity of affection, I have rashly addressed you, Krishna, Yadava, or my friend, ignorant of this, your greatness. So he's apologizing, right? O infallible Lord, whatever disrespect I've shown you, in jest, while relaxing, resting, sitting, or eating, either alone with you or in company, I beg you, the inconceivable, to please forgive me for that. You are the Father of all living beings, the worshipable and most glorious teacher. You have no equal within these three worlds. How can there be anyone greater than you, O Lord of unrivaled power? So I offer my prostrate obeisances unto you, my Lord and worshipable Master, praying for your mercy. Please excuse me as a father, friend, or lover overlooks the mistakes of his son, companion, or beloved. So I did skip over some of these verses. I'll go back. let me see how maybe we can actually get to the end of this chapter. So I'm going to go back to 44 in the Sanskrit. Tasmat pranamya pranidaya kayam prasade tvam ahamishamidhyam viteva putrasya sateva sakyuhu priya priya yaharsi deva shodam ajishta purvam ishitosmi drishtva bhayena cha pravyatitam mano me tadeva me darshaya deva rupam prasida devesha jagannivasa Kiritinam gadinam chakrahastam ichamitam drashtamaham tataiva Vinaiva rupena chaturbhujena sahasrabaho bhava vishwamurte Shri Bhagavanu vacha maya prasanena tavarjunidam Rupam param darshitam yogat Tejomayam vishwamanantamadyam Yanme tvadanyena najishtapurvam O Lord, my heart is joyful to see your hitherto unseen universal form, yet I am afraid. O God of gods, shelter of the universe, be gracious upon me and appear in the form I saw before. I wish to see you again wearing a crown and holding a club and disc. O thousand-armed Lord, O universal form, please appear in that four-armed form. The Supreme Lord said, O Arjuna, to grant you my special favor, I have today revealed this effulgent, universal, infinite, and primeval form by my divine potency. This supreme universal form has never been seen by anyone before. Na veda yagya jayaner na daner na chakriya bir na tapo birugraihi Evam rupa sakyam niloke drashtum tvaranyena gurupavira mate vyatamacha vimuda bhavo jishrarupam godam vidinmamedam yapeta bibrita manapunastvam tadeva me rupam idam prapashya sanjaya vacha ityarjunam vasudevastatuktva Swakam rupam darshayamasa bhuyaha Ashvasayamasa chabitaminam Bhutva puna somya vapur mahatma Arjuna vacha Jushtvedvam manusham rupam Tava somyam janardana Idanim asmi samrita Sacheta prakritim gataha O Arjuna, most valiant of the Kauravas, no one in this human plane can see this form of mine that you have seen, neither by study of the Vedas, nor Vedic sacrifices, nor charity, nor rituals, nor severe austerity. Be not bewildered by seeing this terrible aspect of mine. Do not fear. Now with a peaceful heart, behold my four-armed form once again. Sanjaya said, speaking thus to Arjuna, Krishna again revealed his own form. And once again, he revealed his charming personality, the most merciful Sri Krishna of human feature, adorned with yellow cloth, Kaustuba jewel, and Vaijayanti garland, thus reassuring the fearful Arjuna. So as I understand, after showing this grand universal form, then he briefly showed this four-armed form, and then he resumed this two-armed human-like form in these three phases. Srila Sridhar Maharaj mentions that somewhere, and it's indicated in the Sanskrit. Arjuna said, O Janardhan, seeing your beautiful form of human feature, I am calm and composed once again. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha. Sudurdarsham midam rupam drishtavanasi yanmama devapyasya rupasya nityam darshana kankshinaha naham vederna tapasa nadanena chachejaya Shakya evam vido drashtum drishtavanasi yanmama bhaktya tananyaya shakya aham evam vido arjuna yatum drashtum cha tatvena praveshtum cha parantapa mat karma klim mat paramo mat bhakta sangavarjitaha nirvader nirveda sarvabhuteshu yasamameti pandava iti Shrimahabharate Shatta Sahasriyam Samhitayam Vaishashikyam Bhishma Parvani Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga Namai Kadasho Jayaha. The Supreme Lord said, O Arjuna, it is very rare that anyone sees this form. This is my form, which you now behold. Even the gods constantly aspire for a glimpse of this human-like divine form. So this is quite an interesting point, right? That this form is considered more rare, more precious, more difficult to attain, you know, even more so than this, grand, awe-inspiring. And, one interesting point which our Gurudev Srila Govinda Maharaj made once is that this is the time, right, when Krishna actually appeared on the earth, right? And so, everyone was seeing something, but in order to see like the original spiritual form of Krishna, one needed to have some special blessing, as it was mentioned earlier in this chapter, right? Krishna said to Arjuna, now I'm giving you the eyes to see. Now I'm giving you the vision by which you'll be able to see, because otherwise with these ordinary eyes, it's not possible, right? And I think we also recalled in our previous meeting on this chapter, there was this incident, well-known incident described in Mahabharata when it's King Dhritarashtra, because Dhritarashtra is blind, right? And there's that occasion when he requests Krishna, Krishna visits their assembly hall and their royal assembly hall, and Dhritarashtra requests Krishna, can I see this special universal form? Can you remove my blindness? Right? And Krishna tells him, it's not a question of being blind or not, or, seeing or being blind. You need my will in order for you to see this form, so I'm giving you the blessings by which you can see. So then going back to this point, and this is quite an interesting point, like why is this form, this human, sorry, I'm really jet lagged. I'm sorry if I'm not totally making sense here. But I'm jumping around here. But okay, going back to this point, right? Our Gurudev Srila Govinda Maharaj mentioned that, the general people, they're, Krishna's walking around, they're seeing something, but he described it as like a Maya Krishna, like some illusory form of Krishna. But that original spiritual form, only those, Premanjana Chrita Bhakti Vilochanin, as mentioned in the scripture Brahma Samhita, with the eyes of love, with the eyes of devotion, can we perceive the original spiritual form of the Lord. So love, devotion, that is the medium, right, by which we can have spiritual vision. Or more specifically, that higher manifestation of the Lord will be revealed to us in his personal feature, right, Bhagavan feature. It is only through devotion, through love. Neither by study of the Vedas, nor by austerity, charity. Getting some interference here. nor by austerity, charity, and sacrifice can anyone see my eternal human-like form of the sweet absolute as you see me. So then this was another point which I wanted to bring up, which is quite interesting. And I brought it up a little bit earlier, but like, why is this form considered more precious? It's a very interesting point, isn't it? This is the Gaudiya Vaishnava interpretation, right? Not even all Vaishnavas will agree on this point. But particularly the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, the Vaishnavas in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? Those who worship Vishnu as the supreme God, they won't agree with this version. But this is the Gaudiya Vaishnava interpretation, those in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They conclude that the human-like feature of the Lord, a prakrita, right? Super mundane, appearing ordinary, but not. This is their conclusion, that this form of the Lord is higher, more original than the majestic, awe-inspiring, powerful, almighty aspect of the Lord, as in the case of Vishnu, and this is also another example of that. It's universal. How can our gurus make this conclusion? On the basis of rasa, this point, how much rasa is available, how much relationship, how much love, how much intimacy is available. Because ultimately, because it comes down to this point of love, right? Love is the most powerful force. Love is the most essential principle in existence. Love is the central principle of all existence. So where, in what manifestation of the Lord is the most love possible? What form of the Lord is most lovable, and who can give love, with whom we can exchange love with to the highest degree, right? This is the point of our teachers, of our gurus. So this human-like form of the Lord, with whom we can play, with whom we can share food, this is considered to be higher. Now, it is a very curious point, and it has its own logic. According to normal calculation, it doesn't make any sense, right? In the same way that love doesn't make sense. You can say, but at the same time, love has its own logic and love has its own sense, right? So it's like that. So at first glance, like this whole Krishna idea, it sounds strange, sounds bizarre. But if you think about it more deeply and you think about the importance of the principle of love, then it makes perfect sense. Everything fits into place, everything clicks, right? And it all comes together. So this, all of this is kind of in the background, right, of this whole scene here. Neither by study of the Vedas nor by austerity, charity, and sacrifice can anyone see my eternal human-like form of the sweet absolute as you see me. I'm reminded of this this one verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam scripture. And it's saying, Nanda kim akarod brahmam shreya eva mahodayam yashoda cha mahaba papo yasya sanam hadi. It's saying, what did Nanda Maharaj, right? Nanda Maharaj is Krishna's father. And this verse is kind of marveling at this human-like Leela, human-like play of Krishna. And it's saying, what did Nanda Maharaj do to get this? Like this supreme absolute truth who's being sought after in so many different ways and being, approached and in so many different ways and revealed in so many different abstract, remote ways. Like Nanda Maharaj has him playing in his backyard. And so like, what did he do? And what about Mother Jashoda? Yashoda, she has the supreme absolute sucking on her breast. Like, what did they do? You know? But it's an interesting expression, because the fact is, it's not a matter, it's like as is being said here, it's not a matter of what you've done. It's not that you can actually attain this by austerity. It's not like if you go and do 108 push-ups, you know, or you go meditate in water, underwater for, 10 days, it doesn't work like that. There's no mechanical process. And this is what distinguishes the line of bhakti, right? Because like in traditional yoga practices, that's the whole idea. You do such and such, you can expect such and such result. In karma practices, right, where there's some result within the mundane world, you perform in such and such austerity or charity, and you can expect such and such result. But in this case, it doesn't work like that. In the same way with building a loving relationship, it's not like you give the woman of your dreams 100 roses and you're going to guarantee it, she'll fall in love with you. It doesn't work like that. It's a matter of the heart, right? It is a matter of awakening love in the heart. So there's no mechanical process. Only some things recommended that may help. But there's no guarantee. It is a spontaneous thing. O Arjuna, conqueror of the enemy, only by pure devotion is it possible to know me, see me, and enter my divine pastimes. O Arjuna, my devotee who gives up all attachments and whose heart is totally free from enmity to all beings, who serves me wholeheartedly, knowing me as the supreme, reaches me. End of chapter 11, the vision of the universal form, from the conversation of Sri Krishna and Arjuna. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishad, the yoga scripture of transcendental knowledge, and Bhishma Parva of Sri Mahabharata, the holy scripture revealed by Srila Vyasadeva in 100,000 verses. Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Jai. We did it. Does anyone have any comments or questions before we close for today? I know there have been some comments in the chat here. So
yeah, I wanted to say, like, this aspect of free will is about, like, love being important, and then free will, like, love being the factor, and love can be forced because it's dependent on the free will. I wanted to, well, in the sense of, like, not being attached to our material results from our activities that we, like, have to perform in our life, like whether it's work or otherwise, but then being attached to Krishna, but doing those things in service of Krishna. I guess I want to know. I don't know if it's too much to ask. Like what is, like, the process of, like, dedicating things towards the service of Krishna versus, like, complete renunciation from worldly activities. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe I don't think I can form my question properly, but so I think I'm just gonna pass. Sorry.
No. Once you brought it out, that's it. But you were bringing up a few different points. I wasn't totally sure how they all tied together. The last thing you mentioned, I can follow that. What's the difference between dedicating everything to Krishna versus renouncing the world? Like that's a topic. But the earlier thing you mentioned about free will, I didn't.
Yeah, I was saying free will in the sense of, like, loving Krishna, and because we're not robots. Like, Krishna wants us to, like, we want to be in a relationship with Krishna in some way, form, or another, one of the rasas. So, like, having that loving relationship with Krishna is important, but it can't be forced. That's the reason we have free will. Or, like, the question is, like, like we have that free will, but we have our material conditionings that keep us connected with the material world. So then how to, I guess, is there a different layered process for detaching from the material world and being attached to Krishna? And then that led me to the second part of the question: what's the difference between dedicating our activities that we do in this material world for Krishna versus completely renouncing the material world and living, like, so like, but that's not what's recommended either, because we have to like be where we are and then apply Krishna consciousness where we are, and then later, if we are guided to do so from like a spiritual master, then we can be fully renounced. I don't know. I think I'm talking to myself. But
No,
if
no,
you
no,
know what I
no.
mean.
No, you've brought up some nice points there. I mean, one thing we have to remember is that we are really in the kindergarten class, right? And yes, we have the potential for having this, intimate relationship with Krishna, one of these rasas, right? But at the present moment, we are, we're not qualified for that. We're going through a process of purification, right? Our problem now is that we're covered by so many layers, right? Our mundane layers of the mind and ego and so on. And so, it's a little too early for us to hope for having, like a real relationship with the Lord. And at present, our, what is very significant is the relationship we have with Guru and Vaishnava, with the Vaishnava saints and Guru. That is something more present and meaningful. And also we have to remember Krishna consciousness is ultimately an aspiration, and to always be in a state of aspiration, that is very healthy and safe for us. So we may, what would be healthy for us is I aspire to have love for Krishna, right? I aspire that I may have that. And that is a very healthy thing for us. And also in general, I feel that, we're going on with hearing, right? But we don't always necessarily have to apply everything, but we're going on with hearing. We are informing, expanding our understanding and our appreciation, right? We're also, by our continued shravanam, hearing, we're increasing our appreciation for the ideal. But to apply things when we're not quite ready, that's not necessary. But as everything should come naturally, actually. And as our appreciation for the ideal develops, then it will just become something natural. Like someone got in touch with me a month or two ago, and some newcomer, and they told me, oh, there are some people who told me that I should move, that I should live close to a temple. And, and she was kind of in this mood of like, oh, I should be doing this, or I should be doing that. And I said, Krishna consciousness is meant to be a love affair, like just let it be fun, let it be joyful, keep hearing. And then what you should or shouldn't do, that will just follow naturally, but keep hearing, develop your appreciation for the ideal. And then you'll feel automatically, oh, I want to be doing this. Oh, I don't want to be doing that. Right? It'll be a natural, gradual process. And you're mentioning this point about detachment versus attachment to Krishna. And I mean, another thing is that we may start from a point of detachment. Like some persons may begin feeling a disgust for mundane reality. you know, feeling disgust for the exploitation of the world, you know, that's a place that someone may start, right? And then, yes, something, what is higher than that is to act always on the basis of love and attachment. That's a higher expression. That's a higher mood. But it's okay to not be there right now. No, you know, like whatever is inspiring us to go forward, you know, that's a good thing. You know, that's progressive. So it's okay for us to be wherever we are, you know, but then at the same time to have some understanding of what's higher. Like, I'm here. We had an extensive discussion on this not too long ago, you know, about how important this is of just being accepting, right? That this is where I am and it's okay. You know? But I understand, like, this is where I want to go. This is the ideal. This is the ultimate. But I'm here right now and I'm okay with that. And I'm striving for something higher, right? Like having this honest assessment and self-acceptance, you know, it's very progressive, actually. So the main thing is that day by day we're trying, right? We're putting in our, you know, whatever it may be, our 30 minutes a day or hour a day, right? Reading, chanting, hearing, you know, but we're going on and we're practicing. You know, we're trying to practice Mahaprabhu's teachings of humility, tolerance, respect, you know. And we're hearing, right? It's all percolating, right? We're every day we're hearing, and then that stream of divine truth is entering our consciousness and enter our lives in different ways, sometimes unexpected. You know, it's a process, right? It's a long process. So I don't know if that's actually addressing what you were bringing up, but those are some thoughts that come to mind. What do you say, Narottam Prabhu? Is that at all addressing your thoughts?
It is, yeah. It helps to know like where we are in the process and not get too ahead of ourselves. And not think we can do it on our own. You know, the association is so important. The Sangha is so important. We Yeah, I know. We miss a lot of details on our own. But it's good to have that, you know, the whole, like, you know, that aspiration is so important too. And to make like little small changes in our life, in our aspiration, in our hope to one day get there, it makes a big difference over time. I'm these days thinking more on like a cumulative basis, in the sense of, you know, getting my rounds done every day, reading a little bit every day, dedicated practices like that, and then adding more as I go along. Like now, every Wednesday, I'm offering like a red flower or something like that. You know, so I'm doing some small things that'll make a habit. Every time I go to the temple, I try to bring some boga with me. So just small things that I'm doing that'll accumulate over time. I think that helps a lot to have that aspiration, that clear vision of it. But also to take those small steps every day to do something, you know, more and also consistently. So yeah, it helps a lot. So that's what I wanted to say.
Beautiful, beautiful, very nice, Narottam Prabhu, very nice. All right, I see Radna Rupini has her hand raised.
Dandavat.
Dandavat.
In regards to renunciation, can I say something?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
You know, renunciation is a really particular thing, you know, like it's not just like I'm just going to be renounced. You know, one day you wake up and you're going to say, I'm going to be renounced now. You know, it doesn't work like that. I know you know that, Vishaka Didi. It means you become more attached to Krishna. First, you become more attached to serving Guru. First, you become more attached by doing service in that direction, and then naturally the attachment goes away, and the attachment to this world and attachment to many different things that we have to, you know, then it gets deeper and deeper within ourselves, meaning envy ourselves, you know, and different things like this. But the thing about attachment that I saw firsthand when I was in my 20s is I saw a lot of people or devotees that were falsely renunciating. And that false renunciation has an effect. And the effect of that false renunciation is a hard heart. Become very hard-hearted. And Krishna wants soft heart, not hard heart, you know? So we have to be really careful with that renunciation. It's a goal, and I feel like it's something we would like to get towards, you know, simple living, high thinking kind of thing. But we have to be very careful not to become hard-hearted. You know, it's so important. I just thought I'd say that because sometimes we have an idea, and in reading the Bhagavad Gita, you know, what helps me also in my daily life is when I drink water, I think, oh, Krishna has a taste in water. When I see the moon in the sky, oh, his effulgence of the moon. You know, just when I go to the beach, oh, Varuna and the shark, and you know, your everyday life, everything you do, you just try your best to link it up with Krishna. Keep your heart soft.
Beautiful, beautiful, very sweet, Ranavini. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, it's an interesting point. It's mentioned sometimes, right? You know, bhukti and mukti, the tendency for enjoyment, exploitation, and the tendency for renunciation or liberation. These are described sometimes as the two ghosts or two witches that are the main obstacles on the path. And you know, generally we tend to think of the spirit of enjoyment as more dangerous, right? And it's healthy to renounce everything. But actually our gurus mentioned that ultimately it's more dangerous because, as Radhanu Rupini is saying, it makes us hard-hearted. It can make us proud, you know, the spirit of renunciation, because there's an ego that comes along with that. You know, that's one of the points, you know, that, oh, I can do this or I can do that, and I'm completely renounced from all these things. And there's usually an ego that comes with that, and that is very dangerous, right? Whereas if you're just a regular enjoyer, it keeps you humble, right? You know, whatever it may be, you know, that you drink, smoke, or whatever, it keeps you humble. You know, you feel your human limitations. And humility is the first quality, right, for spiritual life. It's the first quality that will attract mercy. So yeah, it's a peculiar thing, you know. So yes, have to be careful with that. Okay, well, I'm going to end here for today. Thank you all so much for being a part of this Bhagavad Gita journey and for your continued friendship, good association, keeping me alive on the path. Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Deva Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. All these devotees, sincere seekers ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Shri Hari Ram Sankirtan ki Jai. Jai Go Premanande. Hari Bol.
Haribo.
See you all next time.
Aditi ki jai.
Jai. So good to have you back. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.